Right, so I like to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Shah, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Shah, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. Double ones to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. So here you have Edom, which the word Edom means Aduam, which means red. Why? Because when you go into the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, when Jacob and Esau was born, Esau came out red and hairy all over, right? Because his blood shows forth through his skin. Anytime when you see these so-called white people, any type of emotions that they show, whether if they're laughing, crying, surprised, etc., they look red, right? It says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen, right? So real quick, let's go into this word ambassador, right? The word ambassador. Seer, which means envoy, messenger, pivot of door, hinge, distress. So an ambassador is a messenger, right? So it says an ambassador, which is a messenger, is set among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Who is to her? America, right? Which is modern day America being modern day Mount Seir, modern day Babylon, and all these other ancient kingdoms. And it says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, right? These Edomites have now become small among the heathen. As you can see, their power is beginning to dwindle, right? Their military force, is being impiled with homosexuals and transgenders, right? It says, and also how they becoming small among heathen. If you've been listening to the Salakia, if you've been listening to like the news or alternate news, you have military soldiers that are actually walking out from the military because of the whole inoculation, right? The C-19 inoculation. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, right? And it says, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And who's going to bring him down? Well, the Lord's going to bring him down, right? So real quick, what is that? Salakia, bear with me for a second here. Let me see here. I think that's 42. Salakia, bear with me for a second here. Right, so this is the book of Jeremiah 49 and 16. And the scripture says, actually, I start up at 15 because this pretty much goes into the same thing going into Obadiah. Because Obadiah, when you go into Obadiah, let's go back into Obadiah, right? Obadiah 1 and It says, the pride of thy heart, Obadiah 1 and 3, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, whose inhabitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So the Most High, Yahweh is going to bring down these Edomites. And Jeremiah 49 and 16 goes into the same thing. So that's pretty much what I was looking for, was Jeremiah 49 and 16, but it both equates to the same thing. So let's keep going. Verse 5, if these come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? And how are his hidden things sought up? So how are these things searched out and how they sought up? Well, they're searched out and sought up by the will and the power of Yahweh Shai, right? So right here, this is Jeremiah 49 and 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare. So the Lord have made Esau bare. So everything that is now coming out on these devils is through the will and the power of Yahweh Shai Shai. You know, with the Bohemian Grove, with the Illuminati, you know, with the wickedness that this devil has done throughout history. The brother made a video on what is called the I forget the word, man. But pretty much the brother was going into a lot of going into the pseudoscience and the pseudo doctrine and the discovery doctrine. That's what it was called, the discovery doctrine. And you know, all of these things are now coming out on Esau, because the scriptures tell you in the book of Luke, that which is in darkness shall come to light. And everything that these devils have hid in darkness is now being revealed, right? So it says, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places. There you go. And he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So let's go back to that Obadiah. Obadiah 1 and 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. And this is what's going on with the nations. You know, when Esau sit up here and made these trade deals, you know, for the different products or oil or natural gases that's coming in. Well, these nations are now dumping the dollar, which means if they're dumping a dollar, then the currency of this so-called money is devaluing. So that's also that trap that the Lord have laid for these devils, right? And it says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that Salakia, against thee, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. And that's pretty much what I was going into, is that trap is laid for you. You're wounded, man. You're wounded. And it says, and one of the ways that you're wounded is through this economic based system. You know, you're wounded because by you creating a system that deals with the fiat dollar, which is a dollar that's not backed by silver and gold, which silver and gold, you know, like we was talking about Saturday, silver and gold has a price, and the price on silver and gold will never go away. Like the dollar is just paper. So for an example, it's like what Esau have done, even with the nations, is that he took something of value and he said, I'm going to keep that which is valued, and I'm gonna give that which away which is not valued, but I'm gonna make the whole world believe that it is valued, which is not. And the way he made the world believe it's valued, because what it can do is it can buy something that you would deem valued. So for an example, you could take that paper dollar, and let's say you want to go get to an airport, you want to pay for the plane, first class, whatever. Well, you could use that money, that so-called money that's not valued, and you could pay for that which you believe is valued, and then that's what makes you believe that that dollar is something of value. And that's what Esau, and well, you know what? I think that's Matthew's. That's actually not Matthew's, Isaiah 25:7. Salakia, bear with me for a second. Give me a minute here. All right, Salakia. Let me see here. This is Isaiah 25:7. It says, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all the people, and the veil that is spread over all the nations." A part of that veil is the deceptiveness of the image of Jesus Christ. And again, going back to this whole money system, that was a video that I watched on YouTube, and pretty much, I believe he was an economist, and he created a video on how the dollar, how the banks were actually using the dollar to trade the dollar for goods. So they would trade something like I said, they would trade something that is no value, but in your eyes, you believe that it is value because it is currency. So they would trade something to the nation of value, and the nation would give them Salakia. They would trade to the nation something that is not valued for something that is valued. But because you have a covering cast over your head, you believe that it is valued. And that's how Esau have caught you people. It's control, right? What he did is he took the control away from you people, and when he took that control, now he's in control, because now you don't have the money to actually be sustainable, right, in America. So when this devil crashes the system, you're not going to have anything of value, right? Because the value is going to be that silver and that gold. And like we talked about on last Saturday, is that these devils hold in their vaults gold and silver, right? Why they have stores all over the place telling you that we buy gold, we buy silver. And a lot of these people, because they going through struggles and things like that, the first thing they go do is go sell their gold and their silver, not knowing that you're selling something of value, right? Another thing is this credit, man. By Esau creating credit. Credit is nothing but debt, right? So for an example, your credit card. If you take your credit card and you have a limit of $500, then you could spend under the limit of 30%. And the reason why you're spending under a limit of 30% is because if you spend more than that 30%, or however that goes, I need to do more research on it. But I believe if you spend more than what you are given, or the percentage that you're given, then you can mess up your credit, right? And your credit shows this lender that you're willing to pay back, right? Because look, if you mess around with a nigga in the streets and you say, here, hey, he asks you, I want to borrow $100, and you give that nigga $100, and you'll expect him to pay it at a certain time, but he doesn't. Which means now, if he doesn't pay that back, then now he becomes untrustworthy. And that's how credit systems work. Credit systems work because they track your credit to see if you're trustworthy in order for them to give you something. And when you have a credit card, you swipe it and you build debt over time. And that debt that you build, you're trying to pay it. So every time you make your payment a month, you build your credit. But as you can see, when you go to the debt clock, debt have accumulated to like 84, 87 trillion dollars, right? You got debt out there and it's heavy, and that's gonna be a major part of crashing this economy. So let's keep going back to Obadiah. That's also a form of Esau becoming weak among the nations as the dollar becoming devalued. So going back to Obadiah 1 and 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding to him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And that's what's coming, is that your wise men is being brought, your wise man is pretty much being cast out of there, man. You know, Esau isn't going to have that wisdom as he originally had, because the spirits that he talked to, in order for him to move or maneuver in a sort of way, them spirits not going to be coming back. You know, Esau does some type of ritual to get in contact with the spirits, spirits on the left hand side, to try to, make his next move. So it says, verse 9, and thy mighty man, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of Mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the stranger carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gate and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. But thou should have not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger, neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou should not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou should not have looked on their afflictions in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither should thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So there you go. That's why the scripture says, do ye double unto her. So ultimately, pretty much going into Obadiah, Esau's going to be completely wiped out. Everything that you tried to hide is being brought out to the open, and is putting on these Salakia. Everything that you have done is being brought out into the open, right? So there's nothing that you can hide. But other than that, I'm going to end it from there and say Barak Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Shalom.